His brothers, this guy's star was rising too much, and they could see it. And let me tell you, dear ones, if you are blessed, if the glory and the hand of God is upon you, you'll be surprised you're the only one who is not seeing it. The others are seeing it. And some are seeing it and they just don't know why they are not comfortable with what they are seeing. They don't even understand. Somehow, they just know through the enemy's help that they should fight you. Wow. Good people, it's yet another time for us again today, and I'm really so grateful. Thank you for always joining me. I really appreciate you. And if you are joining us for the first time, we know you'll be able to catch up. Don't worry. My name is Faith Kosgei, and this is Faith Kosgei TV. We come here every now and then to teach one another, to share with one another, and to encourage each other such that we may live up to our God-given potential in life. So welcome today once again. We have a very interesting topic which the Lord has prepared for us. I thank God because of, every time He gives me what to say. And it's really a blessing. Last time we were talking about the issue of, conquering in the place of waiting. And there's something that really came out of there that I thought I wanted to emphasize. The issue of living beyond a major loss. I thought I really want to focus on that. Some of us here may have, lost, majorly in one way. Most of us really, we go through this traumatizing, painful things in life. That you may have lost a loved one and you have never been able to recover, or you do not know how to recover, or maybe this has just happened to you. You may have lost your marriage, going through divorce, or whichever way, maybe death, maybe whatever it is. And it's not easy. It's not easy to deal with that and even to come out of that, nightmare. You may also have lost your property. You have always known this is your home, and one day somebody comes up with some issue and there are court cases or something, and you lose your home, you lose your property, you lose your finances, and you do not know how to pick up from there. These things happen to real human beings in this real world. You may also have lost your career. Suddenly, you're very well, you thought you were in a secure job. Yeah? You had a secure business. Unbelievably so, you just lose it. Like seriously, it's gone. And completely gone. How do you pick up from there? You may have lost your natural ability. Perhaps, through accidents or illness. And you lost perhaps your ability to walk, ability to even talk, ability to see or hear. Some of those things that can really permanently change your way of life. How do you pick up again and move towards that same direction where God has prepared for you? There are also, people lose dreams also. You could be pursuing something. You pursue it and you realize this thing is not coming. And you get crushed. Like it's not coming. This thing is not happening. You mean it's not happening, and you just, so that dream kind of gets crushed and it comes down, and you feel like, how do I move? Like you do not have another option of finding a life or finding fulfillment. How do you move from there to this place of fulfillment, even in the place of, dreams that are, tumbling down? There are people who may have, gone through miscarriage. If you're a mother there, you've been expecting and looking and praying God every day to bless you with a child. And every time you conceive, you lose that child, every time you conceive. So those are painful. It gets to a very painful place, by the way. For some people, this may sound like what? But there are people who really struggle in some spaces of serious loss. Serious loss. And it's like they are still with us. Yeah, you see them every day walking there with you, next to you. They walk with you. They could be your family members, and sometimes you don't even know how to talk to them. You imagine and just say, "Hey God, may you help so and so." But really, we need some knowledge also. We need to understand some aspects of survival when you find yourself having lost something that is really major. I like to share with us some notes that we need to bear in mind. I would like to say that really God's words and promises stands. Whether you have lost or you haven't, it does not change the position of God and the promise of God upon your life. Let's look at Jeremiah 29 from 10b to 11. I know it's a common verse to many people, but I really pray that this time you'll hear it with a special impact in your heart and your soul by the Spirit of God. And it says that I will come to you and fulfill my good promises to bring you back to this place, to bring you back to restoration. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. This word stands. This word stands for you, dear sister, brother. You have lost something and you're thinking there's no hope for you. There's no future for you. Now, the Lord is telling you right now that He has great plans for you. He's not out to harm you. He has plans and a future that gives you hope. A future that is fulfilling. That is His position for you. And I want you to know this and to keep it in your heart. Even where you are now, in that place of total and serious, difficult loss. I also want you to know that our God is a God of mercy. He is merciful. He's compassionate. You know, sometimes we tend to think that our God is, our Father is there out there, harsh with a kiboko, just waiting to whip us anytime. He's compassionate. And even for Christ to have come, really to give His life, you know, that ultimate sacrifice, it was out of love and mercy. Mercy. Because we did not know what we were suffering from. We didn't even know that we needed Him. And so He's compassionate. I want to really share from John 11:32, just to let us know and picture the compassion of Christ and the mercy and the heart of mercy that our Lord has for us, even when we have lost, when we are in pain, when you have lost that child, when you have lost that job, you have lost your livelihood, you have lost your family, you have lost your home, you have lost your property, and your business, and you're grounded, you're wondering how do you. Please know even at that moment that Christ is compassionate. Christ has mercy on you, and His mercy is not just mercy like mine. I may have mercy on you and do nothing. The mercy of God comes loaded. When the Lord looks at you and has compassion on you, things happen. Let me just share with you this one. When Mary, that's John 11:32 to 35, we know about Lazarus and who was resurrected from death by Christ. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw Him, she fell at His feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." So when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, He was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. That He can look at us and see us weeping and suffering, and He really gets moved and troubled. And so 34, where have you laid him? He asked, where have you laid him? Come and see, Lord. They replied. And we are told there at 35, Jesus wept. That was compassion from our Lord Jesus. And that compassion was so powerful enough to bring resurrection. I am trying to tell you that the mercy of God is not ordinary mercy. The mercy of God is so powerful enough to bring us redemption. You know, the way Christ came to die for us. My goodness, that's the kind of mercy I'm talking about, and the compassion that Christ has for you now, dear brother and sister, who has lost. Who has lost something in a major way. Christ is really merciful to you, and his mercy is not in vain. There are also situations that really happen to glorify God. Yeah, there's some things that they just happen, and you know, right now you may not appreciate where is the glory of God here. But after some time, if you allow God to have his way, say, Lord, I surrender, have your way, give thanks in it, because you know that there's something glorious that will be coming out of it. You will see the greatness of God even through that loss. I want to take us to John 11:3-4, still about the story of Lazarus. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. When he heard this, Jesus said, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. Of course, if you read on, the people who are relaying this message thought they did not really understand what Christ was saying. They didn't imagine that he actually meant that Lazarus would rise from the dead. So he knew that he was sick, but it will not end in death, because it was meant to glorify God. That was a matter that was meant to glorify God. And many times when we submit the situations of our loss to the hands of God, all the time, not sometimes, I assure you this one, all the time, it shall glorify God. Unless you want to do it by might and our own power to try and salvage things here, which we really can't make it, then you get to a place where you are overwhelmed. You can't just get to the other side of glory, the one that we are talking about. It takes the help of God, the Spirit of God, and every time you call on him, regardless of what kind of loss you have had, it will end in the glory of God. It will end up glorifying God. And when something glorifies God, it brings you joy. It brings you fulfillment. It brings you happiness. And you can come back and tell us, hey guys, I was in a bad place. And you know what? This is the story now. That's the God we serve. We are not helpless. We are not alone. You are not helpless. You are not beyond repair. When God appears, the story will change. I also like to also put some facts that sometimes, there are things that are unfair in this world. And people can really scheme against us. People can really make us lose things, maliciously. You could lose your job. Somebody can just be malicious, scheming against you. You could lose your marriage through people who are just being malicious, and they cook up things and they make your life very difficult. And you find yourself there like Joseph. This is what happened to Joseph and his brothers. His brothers, this guy's star was rising too much, and they could see it. And let me tell you, dear ones, if you are blessed, if the glory and the hand of God is upon you, you will be surprised you are the only one who is not seeing it. The others are seeing it. And some are seeing it and they just don't know why they are not comfortable with what they are seeing. They don't even understand. Somehow, they just know through the enemy's help that they should fight you. This is what happened to Joseph. So the brothers, could see there's something about this guy, and he thinks through some of the dreams he would share, and he said, the brothers were like, you want us to bow before you now? What are you saying? You know, and he was the youngest of all. So they schemed against him. And we know what happened to Joseph. At the end of the day, at the end of the day,